Our terms of service have been updated in the European Economic Area in Switzerland on July 22nd, 2019. What do I need to do? Our terms of service have been updated. Please review them carefully. To accept the new terms when you log into YouTube, please go to www.youtube.com. If there is any reason you don't agree with the new terms and would rather stop using YouTube, you can follow these instructions to delete the service from your Google account, which involves closing your YouTube channel and removing your data. You can also have the option to make a copy of your content first. Summary changes. This summary is designed to help you understand some of the key updates we've made to our terms of service. Terms. We have hoped these services are useful guide. Please ensure that you've read the new terms in full. Welcome to YouTube. This section outlines our relationship with you. It includes a description of the service, defines our agreement, and names your provider key update. Policies, we've added a link to the policy stating correct policies and advertising YouTube policies, which will inform the part of agreement. These are the policies underpin our community guidelines, and we want to make sure to call out these details from you upfront in our terms. Affiliates, to ensure to understand exactly who we mean when we talk to our group companies, we've included a definition of our affiliates, meaning the companies in the Alphabet Cooperative Group. Our service, to make it easier to understand YouTube's key features functionality, we've added a new section that helps with additional information about our key products and how to use them by including links to the Help Center. Who may use the service. This section sets out the requirements to use the service, and it defines the categories of users, key updates, age requirements. We have stated that specific age requirements in your country reflecting your world information, including the safe under 18. You always must have parent guide information before using the service. Parental permissions. We've added a section to explain your responsibility if you allow your child to use YouTube. Business. Our terms will now make it clear that if you're using the service on behalf of a company or organization, that business accepts this agreement. Your use of the service. This section explains your rights to use the service and the conditions that apply to users of the service. It also explains how we may make changes to the service, key updates, Google accounts, and YouTube channels. We've provided details in which of each of the service can be accessed with our Google account or YouTube channel, which is which features one require one. Your information. We haven't made any changes to the way we treat your information. You can read about our privacy practices by reviewing the privacy policy and YouTube Kids privacy notice. As a reminder, you can always review your privacy settings and manage your data personalization by visiting your Google account. Restrictions. We have updated this section to reflect our requirements around contests and to include a prohibition on manipulating metrics. Service changes. We've improved our terms of service, transparency, and about why we need your change. Make them changes to the service and provide a commitment to give you notice when those changes might affect you, your content and conduct. This section allows users to provide content to the service. It defines the scope of the missions that's granted you about in your context and includes your agreement to not upload anything that infringes on anyone else's rights. Key updates, license. We've clarified the content license you grant us to make it easy to understand. We're not asking for additional permissions. There's no difference in how we're using your content. Duration. This section now includes more clarity about the duration of the content license. For example, we have moved the right for YouTube to use our comments. What the fuck does that say? In and include clear examples of the limited occasions when we might need to use our content after you've removed it. Removals. We included a link to the tools you will need to remove your content, as well as a clear description about why we might need to take down content and how to appeal removals. Analyzing content. You may analyze your content on YouTube to help detect abuse to keep the platform safe. Accounts essential termination. This section explains how you and YouTube may terminate this relationship. Key updates. Terminations are termination terms will then include more details when we might need to terminate agreement with bad actors. We provide a clear commitment to giving notice when we take such action, and you can do to if you think we got it wrong. We've also added instructions for you if you decide you no longer want to use a service about software in our service. This section includes details about software and the key updates. Software licenses. We made the software license grant you more specific, includes some details around your open source. Other Other legal terms. This section includes our service going to you. It also explains that there are some things we're not responsible for. Key updates. Our promised to you. We have confirmed our commitment to provide the service with reasonable skill and care, our liability. We have also made changes to disclaimers and limitations of liability and the key terms applied to better reflect applicable customer rights on your country. Business users are terms now distinguish business users from consumers for the purposes of our limitations of liability for through the destination set out by law. If you would like some more details on the distinction between a customer and a business user, please have a look at the wiki about this agreement. This section This section includes some further important details about our contract, including what to expect if we need to make changes to these terms, or which law applies to them, key updates, modifications. We want to give you the chance to review future material updates to these terms. Assignment. Your YouTube has the right to assign these terms, but only in limited circumstances. A covering law, we've made it clearer that you are entitled to the protection of your local law and courts. So many questions about authorities and how technically in your pay content. Welcome to service dated 22nd of July 2019. Welcome to YouTube. Introduction. Thank you for using YouTube platform and the products, services and features we available for the part of the platform. Collectively, the service. Our service allows you to discover and watch and share videos with other content providers for people connect, inform and inspire across the world globe as it acts as a distribution platform for original content creators and advertisers in large and small. We provide lots of information about the products and how we use them for our help center. Amongst other things, you can find out about YouTube Kids, the YouTube Partner Program, and the YouTube Pay membership service. You can also read about enjoying Google devices on your television, new games console, or even Google Home. Fuck off. You're in service provider. The entity providing service in European e-commerce, Switzerland, and Google are a limited company, incorporated and operating under the laws of Ireland, registered number 368,047, located at Gordon's House, Barrow Street, Dublin 4, Ireland, referred to as YouTube, we, us, or our group. References to affiliates in this means terms that other companies within the Alphabet Inc. cooperate and group. Applicable terms. Your use of the service is agreed to these terms. Your YouTube community guidelines and the policy safety copyright policies here the agreement. Your agreement with us does not include the advertising policies. If you provide existing sponsorships or to the service and create pay promotions in your content, please read this agreement carefully to make sure you understand it. If you do not understand it, do not accept any part of it, then you may not use the service. Who may use the service? Age requirements. If you may use the service, you're at least 13 years old. All children of any ages may use YouTube Kids where available if enabled by parental legal guidance. Permissions by parental guardian. If you're under 18, you must have the parent or legal guardian's permission to use the service. Please have them read this agreement with you. If you are a parental legal guardian of a user under the age of 18, by allowing your child to use the service, you are subject to the terms of this agreement and responsible for your child's activity on the service. You can find the tools and resources to help you manage your family's experience on YouTube and the YouTube Health Center and through Google's Family Link. Businesses. If you are using the service on behalf of a company's organization to confirm us to fuck. You confirm to us that you have the authority to act on behalf of that entity and that entity accepts this environment group this agreement. Your use of the service, content of the service. The content of the service includes videos, audio, example music, and other sounds, graphics, photos, text such as comments and scripts, branding, including trade names, trademarks, modes, and logos, interactive features, software, metrics, and the other material collectively content. Content may be provided as the service and distributed to others, and YouTube is a provider of hosting services such as content as well as personal entity that provides it to the service. You may see content that believe does not comply with these terms, such as violating. You can report it to us. Google accounts and YouTube channels. You can use these parts of the service, such as browsing and searching for content, without having a Google account. However, you do Google account do some features. With a Google account, you also link able to like videos, subscribe to channels, create your own YouTube channel, and more. You can follow the instructions to create a Google account. Creation functions such as doing videos, making Comments or creating playlists. Here are some details about how to create your own YouTube channel. Protect YouTube's account. Keep your password confidential. You should not reuse your Google account password on any third-party applications. Learn about keeping your Google account secure, including what to do if you learn any unauthorized use of your password or Google account. Your information. Our privacy policy explains how we treat personal data and protects your privacy when using Google service. YouTube Kids Privacy Notice explains additional information about privacy practices at YouTube Kids. We will process any audio or audio-visual content uploaded to us in accordance with the YouTube data processing terms, except in cases where you've uploaded such content for personal purposes or household activities. Learn more. Personal and personal fuck permission and restrictions. You may access the service as much as available to you, as long as you comply with this agreement in the law. You may view or listen to content for your personal, non-commercial use. You may also show YouTube videos through the embeddable YouTube player. The following restrictions apply to your use of the service. You are not allowed to access, reproduce, download, distribute, transmit it, broadcast, display, sell license after modify, otherwise use any part of the service or any content except A as specific permitted, since B with prior permission, written permission from YouTube, and if applicable, the respective rights holder, or C permitted as by applicable law. 2. Circumventing disabled people, fraudulent, engage, or otherwise interfere with the service or attempt to any of these things, including security-related features that A. Prevent, restrict the copying or others' use of all the content, or B. Limit the use of the service content. 3. Access the service using automated means such as robots, bonnets, or scrapers, except A. in the case of public search engines, in accordance with YouTube's robot TXT files. B. Either YouTube written permission or C. Has permission by applicable law. 4. Collect or use any information that might identify parties. For example, harvesting usernames is unless permitted that by the person allowed in Section 3 above. Use a service to distribute unsolicited or promotional commercial content, otherwise unwanted, or mass solicitation, spam. 6. Cause and encourage inaccurate measurements of genuine user engagement with the service, including paying people, providing them with incentives to increase the video's views, likes, or dislikes, or increases in channel subscribers, or otherwise manipulating metrics. 7. Misuse of reporting, flagging complaint, dispute, or appeal process, making groundless vexations or frivolous submissions. 8. Run contests for YouTube service do not comply. What's wrong with free gift card giveaway? 9. Use the service to view or listen to content other than personal non-commercial use. For example, you may not publicly screen videos or stream music from the service. Or 10. Use the service A to sell advertising sponsorships or promotion around within the service of content other than the advertising and YouTube policies, such as compliant product placements. Or B. Sell advertising sponsorships, promotions, and the website without sharing content from the services where content from the service prime basis, such as examples, selling ads, webpage, YouTube videos, the only content available. Reservation. A right not expressly granted to you in this agreement remains the right of YouTube or the respective rights holders. This means, for example, that you use the YouTube services or give you information in the content you access, including any branding used displayed in the service. Changes to the service. YouTube is constantly changing and improving the service. It also needs you to alter or discontinue the service or any part of it in order to make performance or security improvements, change functionality and features, make can use to comply with the law, prevent illegal activities or abuse of our systems. We always consider the plans to make such changes to the service in every reasonable possible. We will provide notice when we discontinue or make material changes to our service and advise the impact to each of us. However, there may be times when we need to make such changes without notice, such as where we need to take action to improve the security and operability fuck, I think I said that right, of our service, prevent abuse from any legal requirements. Your content and conduct. Uploading content. If you have a YouTube channel, you may be able to upload content to the service. You may be able to use your content to promote your business or autistic enterprise. If you choose to upload content, you must not submit to the service any content that does not comply with this agreement for the law. For example, the content you must submit must not include third-party intellectual property such as copyrighted material unless you have permission from that party or otherwise legally entitled to do so. You are legally responsible for the content you submit to service. You may use automated systems that analyze your content to help detect infringement and abuse such as spam mail or any illegal content. Rights you grant. To retain all of your ownerships and rights content ensure which belongs to you states. However, we do require to grant certain rights to YouTube and other users the same of the service subscribe license to YouTube. By providing content to the service, you grant YouTube's worldwide non-exclusive royalty-free transferable sub-licensee license to the content, including reproduced, distribute, modified, display, or perform for the purpose of operating, promoting, and improving the service. License to others. We also create each user of the service worldwide, non-exclusive royalty-free access content through the service, and to content including to reproduce, distribute, or modify, display, and perform it only is enabled by a feature of the service. Duration of the license. Licenses grant you until the content is removed. So once removed, the license will terminate except where the operation services use content permitted to, or the law requires otherwise. For example, removal of content by you does not require YouTube to record content. Now it's being used by other users with any limited offline viewing functionality of the service. B. Delete copies which users use to keep for legal purposes. Removing your content. You may remove your content from the YouTube service at the time. You have also the option to make copy of your content. Before removing it, you must remove your content if you no longer have the rights to record these terms. Remove content by YouTube. If we reasonably believe your content is breached this agreement, we may cause harm to YouTube, other users, or third parties who may remove or take down some of our content. We will notify with reasons of our action unless we really believe that to do so A would violate the law or direction of the legal enforcement authority, would otherwise risk liability for YouTube and our affiliates. You would compromise an investigation or the integrity of operation of the service, or C. Will cause harm to any user of third-party sites, YouTube or affiliates. You can learn more about reporting the enforcement, including an appeal and troubleshooting page of our help center. Copyright protection. We provide information to help copyright holders manage intellectual property online or YouTube Community Copyright Center. If you believe our copyright has been infringed on the service, please send us a notice. We respond to our legal. We respond to our notices of alleged copyright infringement according to the processes in our YouTube Copyright Center, where you can also find information about how to resolve a copyright strike. YouTube's policies provide toleration appropriate circumstances or repeat infringes and access to the service. Account suspension or termination. Terminations by you. You may stop using the service anytime. You can always delete the service from your Google account, which involves closing your YouTube channel and removing your data, which is the option to download a copy of your data fast. Terminations and suspensions by YouTube or cause of first cause. If YouTube may suspend or terminate your access to your Google account or your Google account's access to part of the service, you materially repeated the breach agreement. Were you required to do so, claim the legal requirement or a court order? We reasonably believe that have been conduct that creates liability to harm any user or other third party, YouTube or our affiliates. Terminations by YouTube for service changes. YouTube may terminate your access to your Google account's access to part of the service if YouTube reasonably believes that its provision of the service to you is no longer commercially available. Notice or termination of we notify you with all the reason for termination or suspension by YouTube unless we have reasonably believe that you to do so. A. Will violate the law of direction of a legal enforcement authority or will otherwise risk liability to YouTube or affiliates. B. Will compromise an investigation or the integrity operation of the service. C. Will cause harm to any user, third party or YouTube. Affiliates, where YouTube terminating access to changes where reasonably possible, you provided with sufficient time to export your content from the service. Effect of your account suspension or termination. If your Google account is terminated or your Google account access to the service is restricted, you may continue using certain aspects of YouTube service such as viewing only. Without an account, this agreement will continue to cite such a view. If your Google account has been terminated in error, you can pay by using this form. About software and service. Download the software when the service requires or includes download software such as YouTube Studio application. You give permission for that or adopt it automatically on your device once the new version and features available. Subject to your device settings unless the software is governed by additional terms which provide license. YouTube gives you a personal, worldwide, royalty-free, non-assignable, non-exclusive license to the software to by YouTube as part of the service. This license is a software and enjoy the benefit of the services provided by YouTube in the manner permitted by the agreement. If you're not allowed to go you are not allowed to copy, modify, distribute, or sell lease any part of software to reverse engineer or attempt to extract the source code of that software unless the laws prohibit these restrictions or have the YouTube written permission. Open source. Some software used in our service may be offered under an open source license. There are many provisions in an open source license that expressly override some of these terms. If so, we will make that open source license will be available for you. Other legal terms. We provide a service with reasonable care and skill. Disclaimer, by law, we let customers have certain rights that cannot be excluded or altered by a contract. Nothing in this agreement affects those rights you may have as a consumer. Other than that expressly stated in this agreement, or required as law, YouTube does not make specific compromises about the service. For example, we don't make any promises about the content provided through the service, the specific features of the service, or its accuracy, reliability, or availability, or ability to meet your needs, or that content you will submit will be installed on the service. Limitations of liability. All users, nothing is in this agreement as intended to include limited party liability, death, or personal injury, fraud, fraudulent misrepresentation, or any liability that cannot be excluded or limited by law. To the extent of permitted local law, YouTube and its affiliates will not be responsible for 1. Losses that were not caused by YouTube affiliates or breach of this agreement. 2. Any loss of damage that was not at the time this agreement was formed between you and YouTube a reasonably foreseeable consequence, or YouTube or its affiliates breaching this agreement. Or 3. The content submitted by any user or the defamatory, offensive, or illegal content of a user, business users only. If you're using the service for the purpose of trade, it's craft within a business user to the extent permitted by the law, the following limitations of liability will also apply. 1. YouTube and its affiliates will not be responsible for the revenues or data loss of opportunity or anticipated savings and direct or consequences of punitive damages in all cases whether such as losses were foreseeable or not. And 2. YouTube and its affiliate total liability and claims that rising related to says which is limited greater of A. The amount of revenue that YouTube has paid from your to use the use of the service in the 12 months before the date of the notice in writing to YouTube and claim your £500. B. Whenever whichever is higher. Third-party links. The service may contain links to a third-party website and online services now not allowed, not owned, or controlled by YouTube. YouTube has no control over and assumes no responsibility for such as websites and online services. Be aware that you leave the service, we suggest you read the terms and privacy policy of each third-party website and online service that you visit about this agreement. Modifying this agreement. You may modify this agreement, for example, to reflect the changes as it says the legal right, security reasons. YouTube will provide reason reasonable evidence of notice of any material modification of this agreement and the opportunity to review these changes. However, changes addressing the newly available features of the service or changes are made legal, reasons may be effected immediately. Changes will not only be going forward if you do not agree to the modified terms, you should remove any content you uploaded and discontinue the use of service. Continuations of this agreement. If you use your service ends, the following terms of this agreement will be applied for the legal terms of this agreement, and the license is granted you will continue in the case and the duration of service. Severance, if it turns out particular terms agreement is not enforceable for any reason, this will not affect any other terms. Assignment. YouTube may transfer all of its part of agreement or affiliate, or if YouTube is sold to a third party. No waiver. If you do not comply with this agreement, we do not take action immediately. This does not mean that we are giving up any rights that we may have, such as the right to take action in the future. Governing law. If you live in the European Economic Area of Switzerland and this agreement and register with YouTube under this agreement, you'll be governed by the laws of your country of residence. Legal proceedings may be brought to your local court. Evidence as of 22nd July 2019. View previous versions.